For today's review, we are looking at the new DC 7-inch scale Page Puncher's Kingdom Come Superman figure. Now, before I talk about the accessories and of course the figure, let's take a quick look at the comic book that is included with this action figure. You do get issue number 10 of Justice Society of America. Now, I've never read this particular comic run, so I have no clue what the main story is about. But this issue, just flipping through it, I can tell that the JSA members have to deal with Kingdom Come Superman, who is not a resident in their reality. So, Kingdom Come Superman, in his reality, the JSA members are no longer alive. But in this reality, they are alive. And in this first page right here, that's what he says exactly. He said that in his reality, he watched all of them unalive. So there's that. And, of course, the comic cover is illustrated by Alex Ross. And I love that because his art style is just beautiful. If you ever read all of Kingdom Come, most of it is illustrated by him. And there's just something about how he makes his art that is just different from other comic book artists out there. And of course, in this comic book, you do have this moment right here, which I think is a flashback moment. It is a 2-page spread artwork of Alex Ross's illustration, I believe, taken from the Kingdom Come comic book. So there's that. Here's another moment right here as Superman is basically, retelling what happened in his reality, I guess, as he's remembering the past. So yeah. And here's another moment right here where I guess he gets into a tussle with the JSA members. I don't know what's happening here. So yeah, that is the comic book that is included with this figure. Now, of course, this figure does come with a card. It is not a data profile card. It is what I call a summary card. So let's just take a look at the back really quickly. His real name is Kal-El, and it reads, "Set at the dawn of the 21st century in a world spinning out of control, Kingdom Come is a riveting alternate reality story pitting the old guard, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and others against a new uncompromising generation of heroes in a war that will determine the future of the planet." Pretty good summary on Kingdom Come. And if you haven't read Kingdom Come, I highly recommend that comic because it is a very good story. Now, let's talk about the accessories. So this figure does not come with much at all when it comes to accessories. He only comes with 2 pairs of interchangeable hands, which are the same hands that were included with the 1940 classic cartoon Superman figure. So, yeah, it's the same hand gestures. Call them flight hands, call them the stopping motion hand, open gesture hands. I don't know what to call these, but that's all you get in this box. So, not a whole lot here. And if you want to count this as an accessory, you can. He also comes with a flight stand, which is very nice to see because, he's Superman. He can fly, and he should come with a flight stand if you want to pose him in a flying pose of some kind. I don't know why Supergirl did not come with a flight stand. It is very weird how, they make certain decisions like which figure gets a flight stand. So yeah, there's that. And something I did not say in my Supergirl review is the fact that the prices for this particular Page Puncher wave did go up by like $3. So Page Puncher figures, the 7-inch scale ones, usually retail for $24.99. These went up to $27.99. So on top of this price increase and the lack of accessories, this is not good. So just want to put that out there for those of you who are planning to pick up this figure in the future. Okay, let's talk about the figure now. So he is reusing the Crisis on Infinite Earth Superman body buck, which I do love because this body buck is a definite improvement from all the other Superman figures that we have gotten in the past. So, of course, in the beginning, we started with the Action Comics 1000 body buck, which at the time was a very good body buck. But over the course of a period, it started to become outdated because, he didn't really scale well with the other figures that Mcfarlane was making. And then when they transitioned into using the Infected Superman body buck as the main Superman body buck for a period, it was also not great because Superman looked very hunchback in that body buck. And that body buck only works for like certain versions of Superman. For example, Bizarro Superman, right? Which they did make one. And of course, a Jokerized infected Superman, which was what started that body buck, right? So, it doesn't work on every single Superman figure. Especially when you look back at like the Rebirth Superman figure, I think that body buck just doesn't work. Especially now when you see this body buck, you're like, whoa, yeah, they should have updated it to something better. So, of course, it took this long to finally get I would say, the right balance body buck for a Superman figure where he doesn't look hunchback, his legs don't look too skinny. It's just like the right balance, and I think this is what this body buck really did. And also, in terms of height scale, it's pretty good. So, I do like this body buck for that reason. Now, in terms of this figure, though, in terms of aesthetics, there is not a whole lot going on here, unfortunately, because most of this is just flat blue paint and, of course, red paint, right? The only differences between this and the 1940 classic cartoon version is mainly the head sculpt, the way that the S emblem looks, and, of course, the paint here with the belt. So, on this figure, the belt is painted with black and red in between, and you do have this middle part that's painted gold, so there's the difference there. And the S emblem is painted in the black and red color, right, or printed on. I don't know how they got this onto the figure. I think it's printed on, but that is the difference. And of course the head sculpt is different, right? That's a brand new head sculpt. Now, does that look like the art style of how Alex Ross drew the Kingdom Come Superman? Not exactly. I don't think it looks the same. It looks a little bit different, but it still does work as a pretty good head sculpt for a Kingdom Come Superman. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that the white paint here that they put in like a little shading of, they didn't put in enough. So you can't really see that his hair is white, but he does have white hair on the side, on both sides of his head. So if you're a customizer, you could probably add a little bit of white paint here to make that stand out a little bit more, because he's supposed to have that sort of look with his hairstyle. But as for the head sculpt, it is a pretty good looking head sculpt. So I do like that. And that is basically it for aesthetics. Like, everything else is not new, right? Like these sculpt lines here, these were introduced with that Crisis on Infinite Earth Superman body buck. So pretty much everything is reused except for the head sculpt. This is a different head sculpt. And of course, even the cloth fired cape is not new as well. It's the same one. So there you have it with the aesthetics of this figure. Not much going on. But that is basically what he looks like in the comic book artwork. Because as you can see, his costume here is pretty much just like this. It's plain blue and red and black. So you want to talk about accuracy? There it is. All right, let's talk about articulation. So he can look up if you want to get him into a flight pose. So that's good. He can look down. Not the best, but also not the worst. He can turn his head side to side. He can tilt his head side to side, so that's pretty good. His arms do go out. They do go all the way back, so that's good. He does have double jointed in the arms, which is also good. He does have bicep swivel up here. Really loose, but also not too bad. He does have wrist articulation, and he does have swivel in the hands. So, articulation in the arm and the head are pretty much standard. He does have movement in the torso, but my copy is new, so it's tighter. As you can see, it does move. It's not the greatest when it comes to leaning forward, because, some figures, they just can't ab crunch for some reason, and I don't like that at all. This one, for example, he can't really lean forward too much. Leaning back, also not so good on this one either, which is very interesting. His waist does rotate as well, but again, it's very stiff because this figure is new. But it does move, so you do have that movement down there. As for his legs, they do kick out pretty good. I do like that. He can do like a full kick, which is awesome because, some figures can't even do a full kick at all. So he also has double jointed in the legs, as you can see right there. Really nice. And of course, he does have articulation in the feet, so it does move and it does swivel, and there is toe articulation. And in terms of his legs spreading out, he can do almost a full split. That is pretty good, because again, some figures, they don't have this type of range of movement sometimes. And in this case, another thing that surprised me is the fact that the upper thigh swivels do move on this figure. So this leg is moving better for some reason, and then this one, like, it moves but not a whole lot. So I think if you heat it up a little bit, you could get the swivels up there to move better. So I do like the fact that it is moving, and that's good. And of course, if you want to count the cape as part of the articulation, there is wiring. And this is what I'm talking about. You know, sometimes they have wiring like this where it's just on one side here and one side here and nothing on the bottom. But then you also get capes where they got 3 levels of wiring, right? You got it on both sides and you got it on the bottom. So very interesting how they make their wired cloth cape sometimes. It's like kind of random. So okay, now it's time for some comparisons. Let's bring in some figures after I get them into a pose. Let me do something like this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, of course, let's bring in his wave mate because they are both in the same page puncher wave. Here he is next to the Supergirl from the same wave. Pretty cool. Well, I don't know if they will go good together. Honestly, if you want to display the Supergirl with a Superman, I think she's going to work better with the MTD version that is coming out soon. So, Kingdom Come Superman, probably not the Superman you would put the Supergirl with. So, but, you know, it depends on where you want to display this Supergirl. So, you can display her with this Superman or the other Supermans that they have made in the past. So, there's that. Here he is next to the 1940 classic cartoon Superman. And let me see if I can get him to stand better. There we go. And I don't know if my camera is going to capture this, but it looks different in person with the blues. Like, yeah, they both have like somewhat of a dark blue, but this one has more of like a lighter dark blue, and this one is just dark blue. So I don't know if my camera is going to pick that up, but there is a difference in the way the blue is painted. I can see it. I don't know if my camera is going to pick that up at all. So, interesting. Now, you can clearly see that the only difference between these two figures is mainly just the head sculpt, right? And of course, the way the S emblem looks on their chest area, right? Like this one is bigger. This one's like a classic S and it's smaller. And of course, the belt is painted all red here, while this one does have, you know, a black color belt, and the straps are painted in red. So that is basically the only difference between these two figures, is just how their design looks, but the overall body buck is still just the same flat blue and red paint. So there's that. And here he is next to Power Girl for fun. And of course, Power Girl is taller than him. For some reason, they made Power Girl way too tall. So, yeah, interesting. And, of course, since, you know, this issue of the comic book is from JSA, let's have him next to some JSA figures. So here he is next to Alan Scott. Let me actually just leave him there a little bit longer. Here we go. Let's put him right there. Nope. Okay. Here he is next to Jay Garrick, right? So there you go. There's 2 members right there. And of course, here he is next to Commander Steel. So, yeah, pretty cool. If you want to put them together, you can. And last but not least, we got to put him next to the other Kingdom Come figure that we got back in 2023. And that is, of course, Kingdom Come Batman. and I will definitely do a review on this Batman in the future, not right now. But as you can see, this duel is now complete. I don't think they're ever going to make every single character design from Kingdom Come because, you know, the license is expiring, so they're not going to have too much time with that. But hey, you know, back when we got this Kingdom Come Batman, everybody's been asking that question. When are we going to get a Kingdom Come Superman? We finally did. And there they are next to each other. And yeah, I'm very glad I picked up this figure back in 2023 because I had my doubts with this one. I was like, should I pick it up? Should I not? But then, you know, being someone that did read this comic and did enjoy this comic story, I had to get a physical representation of, you know, a character from this. And at the time, it was only the Batman, and now we got the Superman. So it's nice to see both of them in figure form. And there you have the two of them side by side. And with that said, I hope you found today's review of the Kingdom Come Superman figure enjoyable and informative. If you found today's review informative, do give this video a like. If you want to subscribe to the channel for more action figure content and whatever else I do on the channel, you can. You don't have to. In the end of the day, I make these videos for fun. And with that said, take care, and I will see you in the next video.